What's going on for the second time, everybody? uh, it was a pretty wild race weekend. We had trucks at St. Pete to support the IndyCar race at St. Pete, which I know we're not going to talk about the IndyCar race, but I will say fantastic as always. Kind of sick of getting watching Alex Palou win, but the race was fantastic. And then we had NASCAR at COTA. History. We were going to have history either way. But we have history. And of all the craziness that happened this weekend, and there was a whole bunch of topics that we could choose to talk about, I first want to talk about Blaney's mustache. That thing is unreal.
It was shocking the first time I saw it in a YouTube video, and the contrast that they had for the lighting in the video really accentuated the mustache. And I think it was before it kind of got trimmed up a little bit before the race season started. Holy
Absolutely
smokes.
ridiculous. The thing is huge. You could absolutely broom an entire room with that thing if you just held that man by his feet.
Yeah. He's one of those like street sweeping things, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Unreal. I kind of want to talk the truck race because if you, I don't know if you, there's one of the drivers on the truck race is an iRacing Majewski, I think his name is an iRacing like test driver. So he's had access to the St. Pete track before anybody else on iRacing. And he drove the wheels off that truck. He drove, I don't know where he started, but I know towards the end he had the lead, and then he overcooked it going into the penultimate corner, the final corner there onto the front straight, and was overtaken. And he battled back, actually, because I think when he came back on the track, he was in fifth and battled all the way back and almost took the lead. I think he ended up finally finishing second, right?
Okay, so you are talking about Majewski.
Majewski? I don't know.
Yeah, Majewski. That's why I was like, when you said the name, I was like, I don't know who. I was gonna have to ask, like, what number is he?
It's definitely Majew, isn't it?
I don't think there's a W in there, but it's Majewski. That's how they say it on the broadcast.
Oh, it's Majewski. There is no W. All right, you're right. All right, when you're right, you're right.
Yeah, because it's the number 88, right?
Yeah. I didn't know he was an iRacing test driver though.
Yeah, I didn't know. Like, I guess in a way official. I know he's done a lot for iRacing, on different things, but I didn't realize like he was an official tester kind of thing.
That's pretty cool
I have seen videos of him like showing off stuff.
Pretty cool to be able to run the track before it even goes live.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that definitely helped them a lot with understanding where to go. But most of them all have like some kind of simulator, so all the drivers were probably pretty prepped going in to a certain extent.
I would argue that. Would you say that after watching the trucks there, would you want a full weekend at St. Pete for the NASCAR cars as well? Because I thought it was fantastic racing, to be honest with you.
I think it would be fun. The only thing is I don't know about the Cup cars, but now with the new package, I think I'm definitely more open to it because the COTA race was, I mean, pretty crazy. You could tell that those cars could do more.
Yeah, for sure. Who stood out to you out of the normals, right? So you had Riggs was at the front, Majewski, Rhodes was up towards the front for a while. Some of the bigger names that raced in the race, Hinchcliffe finished in 10th.
I would probably say him because like early on he was showing good signs, got damaged, fell back really far and was kind of nowhere, and then he came out of nowhere to finish 10th.
Yeah. Dario Franchitti.
Yeah, I mean he drove a pretty good race. His performance near the end was kind of it fell off a little bit, but he was still, I mean, for as old as he is, he was still driving the hell out of the car.
True.
Um, honestly, I want to say Lane because he's never really can't come across as a good road course guy, and being able to hold back Majeski, who clearly, which I was not expecting that either, having that much pace there to the point where he did fall back to like fifth or something, and the claws way back. And I wonder how much of it was the fuel because Lane Riggs did say he was sputtering, but still,
Yeah, he was like
the,
shaking the truck to get it to fuel to one side.
yeah, he's trying to get the pickup so the fuel would slosh to the side where the pickup is.
That's
Because
wild.
everything he was saying was on the left side. So yeah, taking a right-hand turn is okay, but when they took a left, all the fuel would slosh away. You can't pick up anything.
That's pretty wild. Yeah, but I mean, overall, that truck race was exciting. I enjoyed it immensely.
Oh yeah, I I can't. I really hope they go back to St. Petersburg because I thought it was that good.
The curb right before the final corner where they pop the curb and the whole
Yeah,
truck gets sideways, bro. It's like supercars but trucks.
that's what I was exactly thinking when I seen them hop it. I was like, oh my god, they're driving this thing like a V8 supercar.
Amazing. And I know we're not going to talk about IndyCar, but fantastic race after that. I watched the trucks, then I watched IndyCar, and then I watched NASCAR COTA.
Yeah, I caught the highlights of the IndyCar because I missed the actual race.
It was good. It was good. You know,
Yeah,
a lot of
felt bad
different.
for Mick Schumacher.
Yeah, I mean, it crashed right off the bat. It was unfortunate for some drivers. It was good to see a mix up of strategies. They were trying different things. Scott Dixon, I feel like, I mean, that's my favorite driver. I don't think you know that, but I've said it before. Scott Dixon, my favorite driver, cool guy on and off the track, and I feel like he always finds himself on like some alternate strategy because of his ability to save, and didn't work out for him. Uh, it's
I
just
was most
unfortunate.
shocked about Scott McLaughlin and the fact that Pillow, when they did their pit stops, I was just like Pillow. I felt like came out of nowhere, and being ahead of them after the pit stops, that was wild.
Yeah, I think with McLaughlin and Lundgaard, they tried to undercut him, um, and then it just didn't work out. Honestly, at this point, the Pillow, if you pretty much have to pray that he has a failure or a weird offset crash or something like that. I think overall, the person who I was most impressed with throughout the day was Dennis Hauger, the rookie Hauger. I mean, Indy Next champion last year comes out here, finishes 10th in his first race. I mean, I think he made it to he made it to the Fast Six in qualifying. Even Roman Grosjean um, finished in eighth. Dale Coyne Racing had a hell of a show. So it's good to see. It's good to see it shaken up a little bit, right? You got your normal Chip Ganassi, Penske, Arrow McLaren, Andretti Global. Like, it's good to see all that crap at the top. It's also good to see Dale Coyne, Hunkos Hollinger Racing, Meyershank up there. You know, they did really well. But yeah, good race. And then let's get into the meat and potatoes here, because NASCAR at COTA. Not personally my favorite track. Not my favorite track to spot. Not my favorite track to drive. Doc knows that all too well. I thought the race was really good. I thought it was exciting. I thought it was difficult on the cars. I thought it was difficult on the tires. I feel like a lot of people came with a package they thought was going to work, and it ended up not working. I feel like a few came with a package that they maybe took a chance. Like, here's what I think. I think that there were a few teams that went with a safe setup, and it was okay. And there was a few teams that gambled with a few different setups, and it worked. So I'll tell you, even though Mr. Mustache, I truly did not think that he was going to be leading as many laps as he did and look as dominant for as long as he did. I didn't think he was going to put Reddick under that much pressure. And I mean, we'll get to him in a minute, but Blaney impressed me. He's not normally a road course guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
only Ford in the top what 5 or 10, I think, for most of the race. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I would. I mean, initially I was shocked. I I expected Reddick to do well because he does pretty well at road courses just in general. But the pace that Blaney had, and how dominant it was at first, because it's been a while, especially with Chain being in the mix, that seeing someone pull away that far out in front, it
Mm,
like because I couldn't tell if like because I mean Ross was kind of catching back up at the end. It seemed, and then Shane made up the fourth, I think, because they were together, and I felt like they were just kind of saving their tires a little bit there at the end and trying to maximize that, and it just wasn't going to be enough to like close the gap on Blaney because it was massive. But I was also kind of shocked, not a lot, but for them to go for the points. I mean, both of them went for points. And it was just very unfortunate too, because I thought Ross was going to show a little bit of something, but apparently their car was not set up really good for traffic.
mm,
So when they got marred after the first pit stop on the between the stage breaks, like Shane was able to get up there, and I think get within the top 10 within the first few laps. But Ross fell back and was kind of just stuck in like the P18 to P15 range. Um, and then Briscoe also taken off and having his problems, which uh, that also kind of worries me a little bit for JGR, because they usually are the ones that have reliability issues. It was kind of odd that it seemed to be more like a powertrain or whatever the arm, one of the things, the sections where it must have broke between one of the wheels and not the
mm.
full drivetrain, because he could power one wheel, but the other one was just floating free. Um, so that I just wonder if they have some kind of problem going on at JGR, because they've always, ever since the next gen car came out, they've had reliability issues either with power steering, engines blowing up, drivetrains exploding, transmissions going out. Like it's always something. Um, and I just wonder what's kind of I feel like out of any of the major teams on the grid, they're the ones that have the most like mechanical problems. You don't really see a whole lot from the others.
I will. I yeah. Also think that they're probably the one team specifically that's also running a Toyota that will gamble, that has the ability to gamble and kind of push the envelope with certain things. Because if you look at somebody like, look at the rest of their team, right? Bell finished third. Ty Gibbs was fourth, and Denny Hamlin 10th. By the way, Denny Hamlin, my dude, top 10 at a road course. The man should play lotto, even though he's already got money. I mean, that was a hell of a race. I know he hates road courses, but JGR overall showing was not terrible. I was not expecting Ty Gibbs to get up front like that. But again, like even Todd said, he's hot and then he's not. He's got these times where he's running up front, and then these times where he gets himself into trouble, or he pisses somebody off, or he makes a foolish move. But I thought overall the day, for even though the reliability issue is kind of nerve wracking, the overall day for them was not bad at all.
Yeah, the out of all the other teams for them was really good. Um, but still, it's just that's something I just going into the season. I'm just like, I don't know if they fixed it.
Yeah. What's
Because
up,
yeah, they
Vogel?
could be trying it, but it's still you wouldn't want, because you wouldn't want to experiment too hard to where you, especially early on. I mean, you can
Right.
do that later in the season when you've got like padding and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's kind of both ends, because doing it early you can kind of catch up pretty quickly. But I don't know. I don't know if it's just they're trying something different or what. I don't know exactly what it is. Because the other thing is all those parts. I mean, it could be something that they're kind of experimenting with, that might be kind of in the gray area of the regulations, but most of the stuff is manufactured by NASCAR. Um,
Right.
so and because the other things that don't make sense to me is the powertrain. Why the or not the powertrain? Power steering. Uh, will basically like the cylinders will explode. Because I remember this is when Truex was still in it. They showed a picture under the car, one of the broadcasts, and it just looked like someone just took a giant jar of jelly to just squirted everywhere. I think it exploded.
Terrible.
Um, just interesting, but it'd be something to look out for the season still going through.
I could definitely
But
say that. I want to talk about some of the elbows out racing that I guess happened over the weekend. That I get it. I understand why it was done. I personally am not a huge fan of it. I know that I don't mind them leaning on each other from time to time. I truly don't. Are you practicing, by the way?
no, I'm just sitting in the car.
Oh. Um, I get it, right? I can understand. I understand what they're doing. Okay, but Kyle Busch again. One reason why I don't like him anyways because he definitely pushing people out of the way on his run to the front. Impressive run to the front, but he was still doing it. And then Kyle Larson was pissing me off because he's the first person to complain when people do it to him, but then he loves to do it to other people.
But
And
that's Kyle Larson.
yeah, it's honestly it's sometimes fantastic driver. I know I'm gonna badmouth him for a minute, but I can't take away his skill behind the wheel. Guy can drive. Okay, it's the attitude that drives me nuts. It's like the I can do it, but you can't. That drives me up the wall. I don't know why people do that. I feel like it's childish in a way, and it drives me. And the other guy that was kind of doing it, and I feel like he's got some kind of a chip on his shoulder. I could maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm crazy, but it really feels like that. Is Suarez? I don't know what happened on his exit from Trackhouse, right? Yeah. I don't know if something happened on his exit from Trackhouse, but he seems to just have this like crazy vendetta against like SVG and Connor Zilic, specifically at COTA. Like anytime he can get into him, he was getting into him, and I don't understand what's going on. Like, do you know something I don't?
Well, I mean, whatever it is, it's something that happened behind closed doors, and I don't think anyone's really, and I doubt he'd say anything because I don't know what kind of NDAs or whether it's like a personal thing. I don't know. Only thing I can think of, just like with any driver, when they're let go of a fairly good team, even though I think his chances at Spire would be a lot better. Because the fact that Trackhouse, that's another thing which I'll mention in a second. Trackhouse has the best consistency with performance, but Spire has got a lot going for them going into this year. So they are the ones to watch. Even though I know Junior on his podcast was kind of talking about that we still look, because I agree, we still look at them as like an underdog team, but they have a chance with the amount of resources and stuff that they got going on to become one of the bigger contenders, at least for a little bit if they play their cards right. But they're one, like I said, they're going to be the ones to watch this season to see what magic they can pull off, especially with Hocevar. But I think Suarez just has like a personal thing where he wants to say, I'm going to show you why you shouldn't let me go. So, and then also with the other Trackhouse guys, because that was his previous team, he's probably going to run them a little bit rougher because it's probably a little bit of personal vendetta. I think I must have missed some of it. I don't know how often he was getting into Connor.
He got into him twice.
That's not too bad. He's probably just running.
So every time he could, he did. By the way, Connor easily gets a top 5 finish if he doesn't get killed twice.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up in a second. But yeah, I think he's just, give him a little muscle, just be like, you shouldn't have let me go. Probably some hurt feelings a little bit. Probably nothing really that major other than just like, a little bit of chip. The Kyle Busch thing though, did you remember or did you hear the radio during the broadcast?
No.
So they listened in on Kyle Busch's radio after he moved Jesse Love out of the way, causing Buescher to spin. He said, I forget exactly how he said it. It was either watch the last 5 laps or go back 5 laps and tell me that's not fucking deserved, is what he said.
Did you watch the last 5 before that?
Well, the thing is, the broadcast isn't on them. So, like, if I had a way to watch the in-car the last 5 laps on Kyle Busch, I'm kind of curious what happened, because I think maybe Jesse Love was trying to do a little bit more muscling, kind of blocking. And the interesting thing is that they're on the same team. Not saying that teammates can't race each other,
but taking each other out. Yeah.
Well, it's just Jesse Love is really just doing it for the experience, because he's not getting anything out of the day other than experience, seat time with the car and whatnot.
That makes sense.
And Kyle Busch is trying to maximize points.
So I guess that's why he's so upset.
Well, I'm curious, like, what kind of blocks and things, or maybe he pushed Kyle Busch out of the way a few times and roughed him up. We don't know what all transpired. All we saw was Jesse Love made a very, very aggressive block, and Kyle Busch stood his ground, and Kyle Busch won.
Yeah, but he was even before that. Like, I feel like that was kind of like the culmination of it. But he was in a group of like what 5 or 6 cars and like pushed his way through. And I understand that you got to do it at a certain point, but the way he did it kind of looked a little rough. The Jesse Love incident where he spun him, that actually didn't bother me that much, because I do feel like it was an egregious block, and whoa, and it was kind of coming. So that actually didn't bother me. It was all the hoopla before that, in the first couple laps before that I was like, was all that necessary? I don't know. I mean, I guess.
Well, I mean, for them, it's near the end of the race. This is where guys that maybe all day have been frustrated, dealing with a bunch of stuff, has a chance to finally get some makeup on some points. Maybe they finally got an adjustment they like, and they don't want to sit there and wait too much longer. So it's go time. They're gonna try to muscle their way through the pack where they can, in as best way they can without stepping on too many toes. But I mean, people are gonna get frustrated, mad, payback and all that jazz, and it's just coming. When you get further back in the pack, because at that point, it's an all-out brawl. The guys up front, they can kind of play around, figure out strategy, like, well, this guy's faster, I can kind of let him go, but just I'll stay up with him as long as I can to kind of maximize my position and whatnot. But in the pack, where like, I mean, at that moment with Jesse Love and Kyle Busch, I mean, there's like 6 to 8 cars all together, and just nose to butt.
I feel like it almost turned into a Formula One broadcast, because there was the race at the front was so good that you didn't get to see a lot of the stuff that happened in the back of the field. Whereas like that always happens with Formula One, right? You were always watching Max or Hamilton like run around and run away with it, and or the battle up in the front as everybody's looking, and you miss all the garbage behind. But I feel like if there was a race recap, I feel like there was a lot more that happened behind the scenes that we didn't even realize.
There's so much more. I still, because I need to go back and see if they ever have full footage of what happened to Carson Ospar at the end. All I saw was the tire marks that was left behind, and then him facing towards the wall. I was like,
so all
what
right,
happened?
by the way, my heart sank when the announcer like absolutely lost his mind. The way he made it sound was Hocevar was literally barrel rolling down the front straight.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, no. But from I guess from what I've gathered, at first I thought he lost it on his own, but I think he was door banging with somebody, and he got shoved out of the way.
They just had enough.
Yeah, I think
enough.
yeah, Hocevar just got shoved out of the way, and I mean, I don't know if he gets bored and he's just like, you know what? Let's get the elbows out here. Like, last lap of the race, going for a position that really doesn't matter. But I
Well,
mean, I
I
love the
think
guy.
it's
I love him.
yeah. I think it's just kind of I wouldn't say boredom in a sense. I mean, because it could be, but I think it's just the fact that like, hey, I'm just gonna try to maximize, see what the car can do. And then I'm frustrated. I'm not running good, so I'm just gonna take it out on the person in front of me. And then I guess that person wasn't having it. The one speaking of also, because there was a moment earlier in the race where Eric Jones spins across Hocevar's nose, but I want to know because it looks like they never showed a good angle and couldn't really figure it out. And this wouldn't be the first time I think it was Eric Jones that pushed him out at Sonoma last year, randomly, and no one really knew why, unless it was like from other like a race prior or something.
Yeah,
But I do wonder if Eric Jones was getting upset and then drove in, tried to door him, but ended up spinning himself. I don't know
it's a good
because
possibility.
it's weird how the car just immediately turns left into another car, and I guess maybe Eric Jones doesn't realize Hocevar's got a car on his left side. I don't know. It was interesting, but I'm sure Eric Jones probably knows Hocevar is right there, and
Yeah.
if he's getting banged into, he's got to know it's Hocevar, and then probably got frustrated with him.
Hey,
But I
Vogel
love it.
cracks me up. Vogel jumped in the
I like it
chat a while
because
back and he goes, "Hell yeah, brother."
I like it because there's not, and that's I kind of wish there was kind of more of them. And I know some people might think it's just uh or like it's not really racing, they're just beating each other up, blah blah. But the thing is though, I like a driver that's not afraid to like do shit to other people. Because that's how you kind of make it where they are kind of leery about you. Like, is this dude gonna just like send it on me all the time? Is he gonna like try to spin me out?
Yeah.
It gets in their head. But also just being aggressive, like trying to make moves and stuff. Because I mean, it might not always work out, but when it does, it's they're counted as a hero, and if it doesn't work out, then people are gonna bad talk them. So I mean, you got to go for it. But
No, it makes
I will say
sense.
there's a limit.
It
There is a
makes
limit
sense.
on
I
that.
get it. I can understand that. I definitely. Um, what happened to your boy Ross? I know it's sensitive. All right, I know.
Well, here's the thing. I the broadcast did, in my opinion, such a shitty job about like because they just like I forgot how it panned out in the time, but um I forgot what because I saw something else, and then I'm realizing oh we're under yellow, and then next thing I know they say something about Ross, but they never expressed that Ross lost a wheel until like way later. So I
Mm.
started thinking like why are we under caution? Like who wrecked? Like what happened? And then I saw Ross in the pits. I was like, huh, like what? I was like, I started thinking like, this what? They just did such a bad job. I was so confused until they finally like later on talked about the wheel because I never saw a replay of the wheel coming off or anything like that. Did you?
I don't remember seeing the replay. I remember just seeing the car with no wheel on it. I don't remember seeing the actual
Yeah,
incident
I
that
even
that
missed. I must have missed that. I must
yeah.
have like been like up from the couch or whatever. But yeah, they didn't express well enough that something happened, and then when I found out, it was already like too little, too late. I was like, damn it. Because that's the other thing. Because like I mentioned earlier, Trackhouse has been having a problem and a consistency problem. One being their qualifying pace is garbage. They've been doing okay. Ross put it second place,
Right.
which is awesome. Or was it? No, it wasn't third. Yeah, it was second place because SVG got 13th, which that was also shocking, but not shocking compared to Trackhouse if they're having issues. And also, it does seem like for some reason, COTA is Shane's worst track when it comes to the Cup cars because he always has something happen.
No, I would honestly say that after watching Shane, SVG, and them, and just not. I guess the entire Trackhouse team. I think that today was a day where the drivers drove the car to the front of the field and the not the other way around. The car wasn't there. I think Ross, I think in the beginning of the race he wasn't near the front. He used the stage to flip the field and he was at towards the front for a little while. And he had to use kind
No,
of pit
but
stop,
you
right?
got that you got that backwards though.
It was
So he
backwards.
didn't. Yeah, he didn't flip the stage in the first stage.
Ross?
He stayed out. Yeah, he stayed out to get points to maximize it. He won the stage.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. Well, no, I thought you won stage two.
No, he won stage one.
Okay, it was stage
Stage
one,
two was
but
Ty
then
Gibbs.
it's Ty Gibbs, right? I want to say one of the stages I thought he flipped, maybe two, but like
Yeah, he
I
flipped
just
the second one.
yeah, I just remember him being towards the front and him not really been there, kind of like he was kind of doing well for as far as Trackhouse was going, and then I remember seeing like SVG and what's his name? Who's in the '88? The young kid. What's his name again?
Zillage.
Zillich struggling. And they would get this. You could tell that SVG was trying to save his tires towards the beginning of each stint. And then towards the
Mhm.
middle of the stint, he would kind of pick it up a little bit to try to kind of run down the rest of what he could. And then unfortunately, it just seemed like he would always run out of tires. Like he just wouldn't be there at the end. And that's exactly what happened at the end of the race when he was trying to run down Reddick. It's he eased into the tires. He didn't want to take too much out of them right away. Then he was able to claw back. He got almost to the bumper. And then the tires just fell away. And I think that was a track house issue all day long. I think Zilich was having the same issue. I think that
Now the
their
only
skill on road courses is what brought them to where they
sorry, I'm gonna cut
finished.
you off
But no, you're good. But yeah, that's my final thought.
because the only problem is that we don't know exactly how well Zillage's car was at the end because of the crazy spin, all
Yeah.
because Denny Hamlin wiggled
Hey, hey,
Byron
hey, hey,
into
hey.
Zane.
Take
He
it
did it.
easy. Take it easy. I know. I was watching. I
I'm not
remember.
saying he did it on purpose, but it's just like one of those things where it's like, oh, come on. I was like, and I see Zillage, like, and Zillage, you could tell he was taking it super wide because he knows that the thing gets chaotic, but then Zane Smith just gets shoved in there so hard, and then Zane gets basically broken,
Yeah. I think.
'cause his tire and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then, but I think Zilich would have been a strong contender. I think he could have finished in the top three, if not maybe second and maybe first. But that's a lot of wishful thinking. But because only reason why I think that is because at the end there he drove himself up to fifth place
Yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
got that position on his own, and Shane wasn't able to go through the field like he did. So out of all the Trackhouse cars, Zilich had the strongest one. And the thing is, I will also say Ross did a lot better on his road for his road course stuff. There was a lot of improvements. I just think that there was just something off with the car, both for Shane, SVG, and Ross. It's like their drive off. It was clearly. I don't know if they just the way they set up the car wasn't good with the new horsepower change or what, because it just seems like they would burn off their rears a lot more than normal, at least for SVG's sake, because usually he's pretty good at saving the rear tires and having good drive off. But this time, it just he that's what the problem was. Is he get up the Reddick, but because he would always catch him pretty much everywhere, but the last two turn one and like the last the carousel and then the last couple
Yeah.
turns, because coming out of that last turn, you could just see Reddick was just so much more smooth on it. Shane was getting a little wiggly, and it just that's honestly what helped keep Reddick ahead is just that the prime passing zones. It was just he would always keep Shane out of just out of reach.
Yo.
So, but
Oh, okay.
what?
We were talking about kind of like weird things, and towards the back of the pack was Ross, but I also saw, there was this weird thing where Bowman um, came out of the race and they had a replacement driver jump in, and they never really talked about what the issue with Bowman was and
They just said
what.
he was sick.
Yeah, so and that's what they said in this thing is he was feeling unwell. I remember them showing the radio being like, "Yeah, I don't feel well, blah blah blah." And the guy was like, "Well, if you could do it." And then he was like, "Nope." And he parked the car and the pit lane spotter for the broadcast jumped in.
Yeah.
How did he do, by the way? Because they never, because the end of the race was so exciting, we never even got to see this guy on track. I understand he finished 36, but by the time he came in, everybody got switched out, and then he got back into the car. It was not really that great, but I just
I don't know. You had
I
to go
got
back and watch highlights to see if they could show the lap times and stuff.
yeah, I got to
Because
look at
that'd
who
be
that
really
was.
but
That's like a back. That's like
it's hard to say.
the third goalie. Do you know what?
Yeah.
Like both the starter and the backup get hurt. They pull like that third guy who's been snow plowing the parking lot for the last 17 years at the stadium. Used to play hockey in high school.
Who, me?
Hey, John, we need you to strap up and get in net real quick. What? But yeah, let's let's talk about history, man. Let's talk about winning probably one of the biggest court cases ever. Really getting NASCAR to kind of backpedal a little bit with some of the things that happened with them and the rules, and then coming out and absolutely laying waste to the rest of the field. First three races of the season, Tyler Reddick just absolutely destroying people. Bubba telling him he's sick of congratulating him at this point, and how many times you wrote to me fixed. Listen, I I guarantee you
Rigged.
that rigged. You said rigged. I apologize. Rigged. I guarantee you
You're
that
right.
in sports, there's a lot of sports betting and craziness that occurs, specifically in football and basketball recently, where it almost seems like it is absolutely, a guarantee that it's happening. What I find crazy though is I don't know if that's the case in motorsport. Will I tell you that his car looked faster than every other car on the racetrack? Yeah, I'll tell you that. His car held onto tires a lot better. He but I don't want to take anything away from it. He drove away. He fell back in the beginning of the race because he saved his tires too much. Notably saying, I saved way too much. I got to be pushing a little harder. Drove himself back to the front of the field, then fought with Blaney and drove away from him, and then drove away from arguably the best, like, full-bodied car road racer there is at SVG. He was. I don't want to take anything away from him and claim that there's something weird going on, but he was fantastic.
Yeah. I don't want to. I don't want to take away from the talent because Reddick is good. Although, I mean, because how do I want to word this? Because I don't
You
want
want to word it in a way where you want to express your frustration, but you don't want to kill your sport.
because I'm very actually very happy for them. It's an amazing feat. It's unheard of. Um, because like when I say a lot of luck was involved, I mean yes, but at the end of the day, also Reddick had to have his car in the right positions to, jump on those opportunities when they show themselves. Except for COTA. COTA is where I think is the best part of it is that he actually truly had a chance to show talent and just master it. It was great to watch. Unfortunately, I wanted someone from Trackhouse to win just because me. But I want to try to keep my biases to the side. Um, but like, sorry, I'm still trying to like get it out of my head so I don't say the wrong thing. Because, like I said, I'm proud
Graham,
of
I
what they
love your
did.
pain.
I think is the biggest karmic justice
Graham, I love your paint, bro. It's awesome.
I've ever seen
Yeah.
in real time. But I mean, the Daytona one, a lot of stuff had to happen for him to get there. I would say that's probably the luckiest one.
Yeah.
Atlanta,
You
I was
can't
more
always.
shocking.
Yeah, you can't when it comes to Daytona and the super speedway with the big wrecks and all that stuff. Yes, that had a lot of luck to do with it. You can't say that was won by skill. I think as these races have gone on, the attribution to this being a skill related success is getting greater, right?
What do you mean?
Like Daytona, it was kind of lucky, right? You survive a wreck, you survive everything, you kind of make it towards the end. Then it was where'd they go next?
Atlanta.
Atlanta. You go to Atlanta, it was you have to be there at the end to win at Atlanta, but it's still kind of a little bit of
Well,
luck, but
Atlanta,
a little bit better.
Atlanta's still a super speedway
Right.
now with the changes that they have, but it just runs a lot different. It's more complicated than just your regular super speedway and how they run them.
Right. So
But yeah,
my that's what I'm talking about, right? And a growth in skill. And then you get to COTA, which is damn near all skill.
it was
To
all
be
him.
so it's like he just grew and grew and grew towards what was, showing how good he was. I thought it was great.
Yeah. And I think that's probably why why I'm very happy for it, because that last one there, like I said, he's showing what he can actually do. It didn't like at that time he didn't need luck. I mean, there was probably a little bit with the fact of their setups were a little bit wrong, and but the thing is, no matter what, at the end of the day, Tyler's the one making the decisions behind the wheel,
Right.
doing what he needs to do to accomplish that goal to keep SVG out of his clutches. Um, it's it was a masterful drive. It was also really good. I hate to say it because I do like SVG. Um, someone finally kind of stuck it to him, because that's all the drivers have been wanting to do is stop Shane's streak.
Yeah.
Although there's still other road courses coming up, and he's not out of the fight, but it's kind of also almost like a David and Goliath situation,
Yeah.
where they finally conquered the giant, and it was kind of nice to watch. Sucked because as a Trackhouse fan,
Well, you
what
think
can you
about it.
do?
First time in 77 years, the entire history of NASCAR, somebody has swept the first three races of the season. The last person to do three in a row was Bell. Um, in the season that, I don't know if you thought this, but when Bell won three in a row and he was on that roll, I really thought that he had a strong case for a championship run, and he absolutely fell off and just kind of disappeared into oblivion that year. I hope that doesn't
Yeah,
happen with Reddick and the 2311 team, but it's very early in the season. I understand that he's how far ahead on points right now.
a lot. I think it was like 60,
Oh, on.
40 or 60, somewhere in there.
You want to hear some craziness right now?
Huh.
Tyler Reddick is got 186 points this season. Do you know who's in second place?
I looked at it. I literally looked at it earlier today.
Bubba Wallace with 116.
I don't remember that. I remember Chase being third.
Chase is third at 114, two behind Bubba. I would if you had on your bingo card 3 weeks into the season, 2311 would be running 1 and 2 in the championship. By the way, I need to ask you this because I don't know if I ever recapped and brought myself up to speed. What is the new championship format? It's not winning you're in anymore, right?
No, so it's all about maximizing points, because it's more akin, if not exactly like it. I think it's some slight differences to the original Chase. So
Oh, sorry, I'm
what
watching an ARCA top split ARCA race and they're killing each other.
Oh, it's no longer about winning you're in. So it is one dude wins, he can compete for the championship, and now it's just gonna be the top 16 point earners are the ones that get in. And then they also, I think they've changed it to where instead of it being a final race with the final four, with just coming down to one race, I think it's a 3-race shootout, if I'm not mistaken.
Better.
Um,
Definitely better.
so, so it's yeah, I prefer that because I've always hated, and I know some people like it because it's exciting, and whatnot. Because every NASCAR season was coming down like the 2021 F1 season, where it was just like Max versus Lewis, where it's like, well, one race at the end of this race determines the champion, blah blah blah. But I don't like that.
No.
I don't like a championship coming down to one race, and I don't like people why they did it is because they're like, well, all the other American sports do the playoff
Yeah,
systems
but
because you got the
that's
basketball,
different.
football. It
That's
is,
different.
and
That's very
there's
different.
people though they're like, it's not, no, it's not, it's the same. I'm like, no,
No.
it's not. Like
No way.
the way the way races work. Like I made a joke like, uh, I forget what it was. It's something like, you don't have like a quarterback going out there dropping a cylinder or blowing a drivetrain,
Yeah,
and
my point
then it
about that
fucks the
is
whole game.
right. My point about that is right. You look at hockey, basketball, they're best of 7, right? The championship. So it's not a one game win. The only one that's truly like that is football, right? In
Yeah.
football, you have how many teams on the field? 2. Those are the only 2 teams in the championship game. Those are the only 2 teams looking to win. And those 2 teams have prepared all year for that one thing. Can a physical malfunction of a machine cost you a win? No. Can a team that has nothing to do with the championship that you're in cost you a win? No. It's not like you're going to have Seahawks, Patriots in the Super Bowl, and some homeboy from the Miami Dolphins rocks up and clubs your kicker.
Yeah,
You
they're
know what I'm
just
saying?
out there
Right.
tackling people randomly.
Right? That doesn't happen. And in motorsport, a one race take all kind of situation drives me up a wall. Now, with Formula One, I guess it's a little different. Over the course of the year, the best teams are always going to be out front. It's very unless there's a freak issue accident with either reliability, which nowadays reliability is not even a question, or a crash between the top guys that are racing each other. Very rarely you're going to have a situation like you do in NASCAR, where it's pack racing, it's affected by everybody else on the racetrack. You can get caught up in a wreck that is not of your doing. It's not like you were in a battle with somebody, i.e., Connor Zillich, and it could ruin your entire day. And I don't feel like it at that point. What you're doing is you're not leaving it to skill and the battle between those people. You're leaving it to chance, and it just doesn't work. I'm definitely okay with it being a best of 3. I will say that I'm looking at the top. Would you say top 14 get in? 15?
16.
16. Okay, I'm apparently deaf. I'm looking at the top 16 here. A lot of people are out of the top 16 yeah. I mean, listen, I know it's a long season, but Reddick, Wallace, Elliott, Blaney, SVG, Logano somehow gets himself in there, but Denny Hamlin's down in 23rd. Wild scenes.
Well, yeah, it's all about those stage points, because stage points still are extra points that go towards getting in to
Yeah.
those point brackets. They're worth a little more. That's why SPG and Ross Chastain both try to maximize their points, because Ross is only 4 points to the good of being in that bottom 16. So he's only 4 points away of being in the chase, but it's still a long season.
Right.
Um, and it's having 2 super speedways and then a road course, where basically it's like 2 super speedways where it's like anything can happen. And then the road course, like the road course is kind of like the first one where it finally like, all right, the points are kind of like they're starting to stack up. And then in the next 3 races, you're gonna start kind of seeing where people are moving and going, for the most part. The only thing is I want to kind of go back, because with the F1 race, mainly the 2021, where it came down to one race, it was exciting more so because it happened naturally. it was just like an amazing season, like because it wasn't just that one race; it was the whole season leading up to that moment, the penultimate moment, which was made that great.
Right.
F1 is a little different where because the teams have a lot more to do with the innovations of their cars and what they can do to the cars to make them go faster is why you have those big differences and why you usually have like one or two guys winning it. With NASCAR, even though there's teams with more money that can do stuff to make the cars be more consistent, it's still unpredictable because like you mentioned wrecks, other stuff, reliability issues. Even though I do disagree with you said reliability is not an issue in F1, F1 still got reliability issues. There is just a little different.
Yeah, I'm just saying that compared to, way back in the day in like the 60s and 70s, it's rare.
Well, yeah, but um, yeah, just NASCAR is always going to be unpredictable, and that's one of the reasons why I love it, and that's why I also hated the one race to rule them all kind of thing, just because, well, like you're saying, there's not other teams and stuff out there and stuff. And there's one more thing I was going to mention, because I forgot that point. 'Cause my brain's all in a fog.
I do have another question for you, but go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, because I kind of forgot where I was going to go anyway.
I want to know, do you feel that there are going to be some teams that get the point system wrong? So when they should have stayed out and maybe taken points in the stage, they chose to flip it and try to win the race or do better at the end of the race, and they should have picked it up? Or do you feel like there's going to be... Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? Do you feel like somebody's going to
I was
miscalculate?
going to answer.
Go ahead.
Yes. Absolutely yes.
Yes.
Because that's the gamble. Because there's a tough call. Because heck, I think it was still kind of a tough call. I mean, maybe not as much because the Trackhouse cars did have pace. It's just Zillage had to start so far back and then work his way up. But at that point, it gave Zillage the ability to work on his car since he was so early on to figure out how to get a car that can move through traffic.
Right.
Shane is just, you know, more than an expert at road courses, so he can kind of work with his car. His car was already set up pretty good, because even he was complaining about getting marred in traffic and that it was getting a little too tight. Um, and then Chastain definitely looked like he was having some handling issues, and because I mean, he still had long runs pace because there's a time like the first like 5 to 10 laps, I think he was like in 17th, and I can't remember exactly where he started, but I think he made up some ground, and then he got like 2 or 3 more spots in the next few laps, just because like he does have a little bit stronger pace, but he kind of stalled out where he was at 15th, and I think he did when they did flip it, got track position a little further up because I think he was starting like 8th or something like that,
Yeah.
and then unfortunately his wheel came off. That's another thing, we don't know exactly how. I think Chastain probably had a good chance for a top 5 car, if not a top 10. It had things not played out the way they did. So there's still like some good out of it. It's just the execution sometimes with Trackhouse, because I mean they fucked up pit stops. They've made wrong decisions on trying to keep up with the track conditions and stuff. Like I said, their qualifying pace and other few things here and there. Just I
The
hope
car
they
wasn't
eventually get
terrible.
that cleaned up.
The car wasn't terrible.
No.
They when it needed to be at its best, the car wasn't. And I think a lot of it you could attribute to tire fall off, maybe too much lateral slide where the other cars weren't having that. I think it's like maybe too much lateral slide. Maybe could have been so many different things, but I think that plays into it. But I was happy to witness history. I think that was the first NASCAR race in a long time for me where I was on the edge of my seat. And I was like, holy shit, he's going to do it. And I thought it was a great race.
Oh, absolutely. One of the better ones. There's so much to it. The history making as well. the other storylines that we don't even quite fully know yet from all the people back in the pack, because there's things that might pop up in the next races. We'll find out with who didn't like getting pushed around and whatnot.
Yeah, man. Anything else you want
And
to
I'm
talk
curious.
about before we get out of here?
Well, I was just gonna say on that note, Hocevar, kind of going back to him, and just I'm just worried about the payback stuff that people are gonna want to do, because they're not gonna put up with his stuff for long. So he's walking on thin ice. I just hope that if something happens, uh, it's not another situation like Chastain where they basically had to reel Chastain and kind of calm him down a little bit, because that really neutered a lot of Chastain's performance, in my opinion. But it
I
does
don't think
seem
you
like
can with.
Spire.
I don't think you can with Hocevar.
Oh no, I mean you might have said the same thing about Ross, but after his talk with Hendrick, and then because what was
Different
weird.
personalities, man. Different personalities.
Well, I mean, but still, because it was still kind of the same situation. It's just that what happened is that there was a big wreck with the one of the Hendricks Golden Boys, Mr. Larson. Don't mess with him, otherwise the big boss will come down and try to shut you up. But
Yeah, I get it, but
he, he he had a conversation with him. But I just want to finish the point: is that Justin Marks, after that wreck and everything, he was back in Chastain. He's like, we love our guy, we love what he does, and whatnot. And then it's like after the conversation with Hendrick, all of a sudden he kind of like, well, we need to kind of like clean him up. I was just like, all right, what? I was just like, what the fuck happened? What?
yeah.
And I'm thinking that it was almost like a deal. I wonder if it was like some kind of other deal, maybe something else going on where, and this is just all speculation. None of it. It's just basically a rumor I'm kind of creating in my own head, because I'm just wondering what was said. If there wasn't something done to where Chastain can like prove himself, and then maybe if Alex Bowman doesn't perform, maybe Chastain could get into 48.
I wouldn't say
Who
Alex
knows?
Bowman has been as successful as they probably hoped and as he's been in the past, but he hasn't been terrible either. I can't speak to one way or the other. I do think that the personalities of somebody like a Ross Chastain and a Carson Hocevar are vastly different, and I think as much as Trackhouse likes to shake the boat, putting people like Ross, Chastain, Zilich, and SVG in, and running the road courses and having the Red Bull backing, and don't get me wrong, I think they like that. I also think that Spire understands the game that they're playing and
Mm-hmm.
is as much as what Trackhouse at this point. I'm not going to say they have the money coming in, but with Red Bull and the three drivers they have, they're covered. I'm not saying Spire is losing money or doesn't have enough money, but the fact that Hocevar is a hurricane creates attention for that team to sell sponsorships, to sell partnerships, to sell even merchandise, probably, when it comes to the chaos that
Definitely
they
a lot of
ensue.
merchandise.
So I truly feel like they are encouraging it even more than Trackhouse ever did.
Once again, I just think it's going to come down to performance. As long as he's showing signs of good performance, and he's making moves and stuff and going up the grid and not getting to the point where he's just wrecking other cars and himself, I'm pretty sure they'll keep backing him.
Yeah, man.
And I'm all for it. I really think. Well, I won't put it that way. I'm really hoping that this is kind of a breakout year for Hocevar,
Mm.
and he kind of proves a lot against the haters.
There you go.
And I really hope he can pull off a win. But it's just a long season, and we got to see what they can do. And hopefully, it doesn't make too many enemies in the process, so that they
Nice.
let him win and don't wreck him out at the last
I
second.
Man, these guys are in top split are going at it, bro. P1 and P2. They're
Are you
within
still watching Arc Race?
they're within a tenth of each other, and they're hauling. But
Yeah, it's in Charlotte.
yeah, for good 4K drivers. All right, everybody. That's it for today. Appreciate it. I'm gonna have to, once I end the stream, probably tomorrow at some point, I'll have to cut out the whole first section and re-upload it. But appreciate you joining. I hope everybody has a good one. We will be back on. I'm gonna try to stream Wednesday night for the picture race at Monza. That'll be at like 8:30 ish, I think, somewhere around there. I'm also going to be streaming with Doc on Friday when we head out to Phoenix, the NIS series, and we're gonna try to
Excited.
we're gonna try to right the ship a little bit. I feel like the start to the season for us has been rocky. We're not used to this, so we're gonna right the ship a little bit, and we're gonna take on Phoenix, and we're gonna do well the wacky dog leg, and that's gonna be a crazy race to spot. I could already tell.
Mm.
And we'll see how you go. Yeah, that Friday night race is gonna be at 9 o'clock, so you should see the stream pop up for that one here soon as well. But I'll get it posted so you can set that notify button. But appreciate you joining me, Doc. Hopefully next time we get somebody else in. I know Mikhail said he wanted to, but he wasn't feeling well. Tim's almost ready. Todd's on vacation, but I'm hoping that one day we can get a big group in here. We can just all talk
Oh
NASCAR.
yeah, for sure. It'll be fun.
For sure. All right, we'll see everybody later. Peace.